What's up, guys? It's the Same Game Freak here. So we had a Pokemon Direct today. And people were asking for my predictions, so to speak, which if you watch the Juices Loose podcast that I now leave in the description of every video, you would have technically seen my predictions, kind of, sort of. But realistically, it wasn't that. To me, there was only a few things I was going to guess. I was either going to guess, some of which actually happened, was a Switch game, Pokken remake, Detective Pikachu was the only other thing I was thinking of that it could be. Which, I mean, I'm still surprised that's not announced, considering that's supposedly what the live-action movie is going to be based off of, but that's a whole other thing. But let's talk about the Pokemon Direct, because people are salty as shit. And it's like the whole Pokemon fan base is collectively like, eat a dick! And you're just like, whoa, chill out. So let me talk to you for a second. Now, the non-Pokemon fans don't know no better. You Pokemon fans, you should know better of how this works. Come on, guys. So first things first. Pokken Tournament Switch port. Now, obviously, this is another one of those Wii U things where the Wii U fan base is like, son of a bitch, I already played this game not even like a year or two ago. For the love of God, I want new games. That's the first thing. That's the Wii U fan base. The Switch fan base, who doesn't know about the Wii U fan base or isn't aware, are like, cool, it's a cool game that we didn't get to play on the Wii U and I get to play now. My opinion is, and it's like I've said before, I think I've said this multiple times in videos, Pokken Tournament was one of those games I was perfectly fine with getting a port for, particularly because it's a fighting game. Second, it was a fighting game that we never got all the DLC for. Because pretty much all this version is all the arcade DLC plus one new character plus some extra modes. That's Pokken Tournament DX, at least from what we know right now. Is that it's pretty much the same game, although they have gone ahead and announced, for those who don't know, that the Pokken Tournament controller does work with the game, so good news, folks, you can use it. So don't worry, don't throw the controller in the trash, you're covered. The Pokken Tournament scene is still alive. It was that, and then I'm trying to think, was there anything else that was major? I think those are the only things that were major. And then obviously they have like 3-on-3 battles now. I think that was, and then there are like more online options. I think those were the main things, which are, you know, great. They're cool things. I'm not mad. And as I said, to me, this was the port that was completely justified, because it only got like a small run on Wii U, and then like you have your tiny little fan base that kind of gravitates toward the game. Because I mean, it's still trying to be played competitively, and it's on the Wii U of all things. Now, Smash is something that will always kind of survive because it's fucking Smash Brothers. Pokken Tournament was like the first of its kind, and I was mad that the first game got put out to almost borderline die. Now, granted, I think it sold near like 1 million on the Wii U, so I can't imagine that it didn't make any money. But then again, it also, especially considering how small that roster is, bruh. The only thing I was mad about is I was wishing they would say, we're going to update it with post-launch content. That would have been like, greatness. Greatness. I mean, obviously, you don't have to put like a shit ton of characters in there, but you know, you put like another, like at least 3 to 4, I probably would have been great. But you know, that's all debatable. This is what it is right now. But hell, fuck it, we got the game, and I'm fine with it. I personally was fine with it. I don't know how other people felt about it. I pretty much, because most people were looking, you know what game they were looking for? They were looking for a Pokemon Stars on Switch, which I understand, but at the same time, let's be realistic here. Pokemon, honestly, it makes no sense for them to do that right now. For one, the Switch just came out. Two, Pokemon is a franchise that sells consoles by itself, and the current problem isn't that we can't sell Switch consoles. The problem is we can't sell Switch consoles because there are not enough in stock. So announcing a Pokemon game that only a limited amount of people would be able to play because they can't get their hands on the console, it's just kind of it's just too fucking much. It just feels like a dick move at that point. It's like releasing the Holy Grail, but not giving me the ability to fucking buy the juice. It's like, son of a bitch. It just ticks you off. Honestly, I did that wrong. It should have been the Holy Juice. The Grail is what you can't buy. Fuck it. You get my damn metaphors. But the reason why I find the over negativity towards there not being a mainline Pokemon game on Switch yet, which is what needs to be the key thing here, yet, is because Pokemon... First off, you gotta understand Pokemon's philosophy. Game Freak has always been about being able to trade and battle with your friends, and it was a very community-driven franchise. That's what Pokemon's always been pushed towards as. As I said, we're having a shortage of the console that you would need to play it, on top of, you're gonna make me buy a fucking console to get the second half of the same generation? That's bullshit. That's no other Pokemon game has done that. Has dicked you around where it made you buy like you had the DS for Black and White, and then you had to buy the 3DS for Black and White too. They never fucking do that. They always release an entire generation on a console. So why the fuck would you just start 7th Gen only to release the second half of 7th Gen on another fucking console? That's such a dick move. And they haven't done that. The other thing is, and some people would say, well, this Ultra Sun and Moon, which is the other announcement on top of the Gold and Silver Virtual Console, is people were like, oh, why are they releasing another version of Sun and Moon again? And I'm like, because they do that all the time. Pokemon historically, at least for these last, I would say 3 or 4 generations, has had this, and granted, it could be even further back. I'm only using 3 or 4 generations because those are the only ones I researched. Pokemon has consistently almost become a yearly franchise, which is part of my concern about Ultra Sun and Moon because it makes you get burnt out on the franchise. It almost argues why even buy both games, because you know there's a fucking second version coming out next year. And I just recently started buying both versions of games again because I didn't do that before. I'm doing it now and almost regretting it instantly. Like, you got to be like a Pokemon fanatic to really to get any kick out of that. But here's my thing, so Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon come out this November. Pokken Tournament DX comes out in September, which means we're now covered all the way up into September. Possibly August we'll have the Mario and Rabbids game, but that's not really the point here. And I actually am happy that this was in its own direct versus in the fucking the E3 conference, because people would have been even madder to put this in the E3 conference. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Nintendo's going to blow the doors off of the E3 conference. I mean, we all hope they do. But, needless to say, if this is going to be a negative point, at least go ahead and tell us now before we're in the hypest moment we can be in. And then tell us, oh, look, we have a port and a fucking second version. But going back to my point about the second version, this isn't surprising because Nintendo's always done this. I can go back as far as to fucking Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl, I think, came out in like 2006 in Japan, 2007 in America. Platinum came out I think it was a gap of like a year or 2 years, depending on where you were at, because it was like 2008 and 2009, I believe. And then you had Black and White 1 and then Black and White 2, which I believe Black and White 1 was 2010, and then Black and White 2 was 2011. I think. I may have that wrong. It might be 2011 was Black and White 1 and 2012 was Black and White 2. The point is they were like a year after each other. X and Y and Oris did the same fucking thing. X and Y came out 2013. Oris came out 2014. They took a year break and then we got Sun and Moon in 2016. They always do this year gap thing. It's not even a gap. It's like literally the first game will have been out for maybe like 6 months at the most, which is around what Sun and Moon has been out for, is about 6 months. And then they'll go ahead and release, and they'll either go ahead and announce / release another version of the game like a year later. That's how Game Freak has done Pokemon. I won't say it from the beginning, but it's done it for the majority of its games, especially the last like 4 generations, 3 or 4 generations. They'll release a game 1 year, and the next year they'll release the 3rd version. That's just how Game Freak handles it. So, and honestly, you should be used to that. They've always been trying to be fair to customers. Because think about it now. The 3DS now has literally the entire library of Pokemon franchise games to get to. Because the DS titles, which means Gen 4 and Gen 5, the 3DS is backwards compatible unless I think you have I think the 2D, which I think one of them isn't. I might be wrong on that, but I thought one version of the 3DS is not backwards compatible. That might be wrong, but I know the original the mainline 3DSs are backwards compatible, so you can get to all the DS games, which is Gen 4 and 5, 6 and 7 are already on the 3DS, and now 6, 7, and 3 because of the Auras remakes, and also fucking Gen 1 and 2 are now both on the Virtual Console, and they both work with Pokemon Bank. And unlike the other, the memes that were going around when we finally gonna get Pokemon Bank, we already got Pokemon Bank. So literally, you have the entirety of Pokemon's generations, all 7 generations available on the 3DS. Makes perfect sense, because why the fuck would you put the second half, especially because we don't know all the details of this new version of the game. We know it's an alternate storyline, but that doesn't tell us much. There's also, this is like the first time they've ever even focused on the story, in the sense of saying that as like a major thing of the game. Because Black and White 2 did that, but it wasn't like to the extent of, they at least showed how different the region was. Whereas here, they've literally only shown us the fusion of like I forget, what is it, Necromon or what's it, Necroma? I forget the name of the Ultra Beast. But it looks like we just see a fusion of that with the Legendaries, which is the same thing they've done with, what was it, Black and White. Actually, no, they did that with, they did it with Black and White 2. And they did that with, well, X and Y never had a third version. But yeah, Black and White 2, they did that. This isn't the first time they do this weird fusion shit. Which is going to probably go more into the Ultra Beast timeline and the alternate universe thing. That if you've been following Pokemon and playing, especially with like the post-game shit, they've been really hammering on this idea of alternate universes and different dimensions and shit. Like ever since Gen 4, there's been like this creeping fucking narrative coming up in the Pokemon games. And I think this will be the prequel to what Gen 8 is. Because that's my suspicion, that Gen 8 will be the generation that will start on Switch. This unfortunately means we're going to have to play the game again of redoing all this backwards compatibility that the 3DS has built up. Which is, I think this is why, and plus that, it's a 3D game. They're literally going to be making 3D models, and we already saw they were hiring from job listings for 3D model designers. So you know they're going, HD 3D model designers, what I mean to say. So you already know they're going to make a mainline Pokemon game for the Switch. We just gotta wait. Remember, Game Freak has only really made handheld games. I think the only game that was HD that they did was that elephant game that I think Sega published. I think that was it. And that wasn't like all of Game Freak. That was just like a portion of Game Freak. So, guys, you gotta calm out. Chill out, dude. Also, on top of that, you do realize if they announced, because people are already complaining about the Switch being a port machine. The only other thing they could have done is did a port of Sun and Moon. And who the fuck really wants to rebuy a game 6 months it came out on a different system? Most people ain't gonna do that shit just for some HD graphics. It's not fucking worth it. I want a game built from the ground up for the fucking Switch. And that means I don't really care about seeing Alola in HD. Personally, I'm fine with this. I have no issues. I just know people were salty because their fucking emotions and fucking rumors and theories were sky fucking high. So everyone was on some fucking cocaine, hopping up in their beds like, man, can't wait to see that Pokemon Stars footage. And you're like, bruh, come on. It's the first year of the Switch. We already got an ass amount of games. We already have a lot of notable franchises coming. Because they already got the Zelda out of the way. They got the Mario out of the way. You think they want to save some stuff for next year? You know, the Pokemons and whatnot. We can get. Well, I think we're going to get our mainline Pokemon game. But we don't need to get it this year, do we? Because we're pretty covered. I mean, we're getting consistently covered for the rest of this year so far. We already know if Xenoblade stays on track, we're already covered. ARMS is this month. Splatoon is next month. Potentially Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is probably either August, maybe even September. The point is we're covered for at least August or September. And we know Mario Odyssey is going to be November or December. October, November, December. Which is already covered. I think we're good. Alright? I don't think we need any more like insane heavy hitters this year. Maybe like one or two more. But not like Pokemon is like asking too much. Especially considering I want that game to be built from the ground up and really push innovation. Because this game was probably easy as fuck to make. They just reused the assets. Now, hopefully, I would hope they fix the frame rate. But, you know, I'm not going to ask anything. This is like the 3DS's last Pokemon game, so fuck it, make it a good one. Because I like Gen 7. I know people are very mixed about it, but I like Gen 7. Anywho, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Are you buying any of these games? I'll probably get Pokken Tournament. I don't know if I'll get it at launch. I'm thinking about it. It depends on what my gaming schedule is around that time, because ARMS will have been out for a few months, so will Splatoon, and depending on whether August has a game in it, kind of hinges on whether I buy, or who, actually it hinges on whether August or October has a game in it, because if it doesn't, I can fuck with it. If it does, that might go on the back burner. And also, I just want to see the competitive scene for Pokken thrive, because I was really interested in that shit, and that shit dropped off bad because of the lack of people playing the game, and because of how inaccessible it is, because it's on a console that people don't care about owning anymore. So, yeah. And also the fact that we didn't have all those extra characters, so the other player, the American players and the European players, can never get accustomed to those new characters, which I don't think is fair. So anyways, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Oh, I'm going to pass out. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Pikachu!